Throughout history, people have used some pretty painful devices to punishment those accused of crimes. From the 16th century, a thief's punishment might be to have their hands tied behind their back with a ball and chain. That's right, like a real-life Among Us character. This was to ensure they wouldn't be able to steal again, at least not without getting caught, because you can't really steal with a giant metal ball weighing you down unless you're really good at it. In that case, good luck. In medieval times, people were put in a device called the Scold's Bridle. You may have actually seen one of these before, because they're often used as decoration or part of a joke, like in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But this was a very real and very painful device used to punish women who gossiped or insulted others. The bridle would be placed over the woman's head and then tightened to the point where she could unspeak, though she could still breathe and see. Sometimes these were also decorated with spikes or had a spiked ball attached to it, so that the lady in question would have an even more uncomfortable day. But if the accused was a man, there was always the option of the C word, or rather the C in medieval England. A man accused of a crime could be given a C, which stood for carry on, and be sentenced to walk around town carrying a wooden board with the crime they were accused of written on it. They would do this while wearing a special hat that had the letter C on it, and to make sure everyone knew what they had done. They were often paraded through the streets while people shouted the words, "Beware the C." So not only were they humiliating themselves, but they were also being humiliated for a more intense form of public humiliation. There was always the pillory. This was a wooden device with holes for the head and arms, and sometimes legs, which would be locked in place. Then people would just throw rotten food and other objects at the person in the pillory. If you've ever wanted to get your hands on a rotten tomato, this is how people did it. But no matter what punishment was handed out, the most important thing was that it was public. Public shaming was a big part of these punishments, because it meant that everyone in the community got to see what was happening. This would discourage others from committing crimes, at least according to the people handing out the punishments. I don't know about you, but I am less likely to steal now that I know that a bunch of angry townspeople might chase me down and force me to wear a metal ball. For more historical punishments that would make you wish you were never born, stay tuned.